Okay, so what's going on, guys? It's Nate Cinderies here, and welcome back to another video. For this video, kind of a different one than usual. Not a channel update, not a playthrough episodes, not a TCG opening, none of that. Today I'm doing something I tried to do last year, but yeah, my results weren't the best. So before I start, OBS, it is kind of working. I know right now it's muted. I have played around with the settings, and there is one instance where I do get sound, not a lot. It's distorted music, so it's I feel like I'm close cracking the case, so to speak. So when I'm done with that, you can be assured I'll be back to playthroughs. And I'm sorry about the wait. It's just trying to set up everything from scratch on a new computer is a nightmare. Believe me. But yeah, enough about that. You've got Absol here battling this Omora, but not for long, because today I want to get into what this video is about. Last year, I kind of briefly mentioned it, sorry. I briefly mentioned just a moment ago that I tried to do something that didn't go too well. I have seen people doing shiny bingo cards for whatever year it is. Last year, I focused on Pokemon, like specific Pokemon rather. So I only managed to get like out of 25, I'd say I got about 10 or 11 maybe. Not a bingo, unfortunately. But this year, I went for a little bit of a different theme. I'm not going to go for specific Pokemon apart from one instance. There is only one instance on the board which is tailored to a specific Pokemon, and I'll get to that shortly. So, this year, I'm encouraging myself to go back to more older games than just one or two like I did before. So, I am going to take advantage of every single generation. Those being, well, Kanto to Paldea, of course. But what I mean is, I'm going to go different games, different genres. Obviously, there was no shiny Pokemon in Red, Blue, and Yellow, but obviously Crystal, well, Gold, Silver, Crystal onwards, there are. So for this year, the games I'm going to mainly focus on, not necessarily limited to. So the games I'm going to focus on are Fire Red for Kanto, Crystal for Silver, Gen 2, Emerald for Gen 3, Platinum for Gen 4, Gen 5 will be Pokemon White, for Gen 6, Pokemon Y, Gen 7 it'll be Ultra Moon instead of Moon, Sword for 8, and then finally, Gen 9 will be Paldea. So like I said, these aren't the only games you're going to do them in. Some require challenges, which I may want to, you know, expand upon. So I'll be using other games. One such game will be Brilliant Diamond. I'll mention that later on. Pokemon Home has a bit of a spotlight. Legends Arceus, I'll want to go back to. And I suppose I will go to any older game too. Just in case I want to change up a bit. Like, just because I picked Fire Red doesn't mean I'm going to not do Leaf Green. For Emerald, I wouldn't, doesn't mean I wouldn't do Ruby or Sapphire. Or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond Pearl, and so on. However, what I will be doing is revealing how I'm going to break this down. At the end, I'll show you what the bingo card looks like, but for now, I'm going to go over what exactly I hope to achieve at the end of the year. So, for the first 10, they kind of speak for themselves. I don't want to use, say, Dynamax Adventures or whatever. although they are going to be mentioned later on. For these to count, I want these first nine Pokemon to be completely random. So for gens 1 to 5, that's simple. Gen 6, yeah, I think it'll be okay because I don't have the shiny charm in my new file for Y. So Gen 7 onward, they do have shiny charm, so but that's not going to stop me from going the extra mile. I'm just going encounter after encounter, not horde battles, not SOS, that kind of stuff. So for gens 1 to 5, apart from the Poke Radar for Gen 4, there isn't a lot that can be done to increase the odds as it is. So for Gen 1, 2, and 3, it's simple enough. 4, well, there's multiple ways. For the most part, it will stay as it is. Gen 5, I do not have a Ditto from any other region, so I'm kind of limited to just doing random encounters. Gen 6 does have a couple, and they will be mentioned later on. Gen 7 also has a couple, but I'm only going to focus on one at the moment. Gen 8, well, there's obviously Dynamax Adventures, which, yeah, let's just say that's kind of a series staple. No, a channel staple, actually. And as for Gen 9, random encounters are a bit funny because they're all overworld, but that's not to say they won't be random. So I'm not going to use any sandwiches, so I'm not going to increase the odds of that any further than the shiny charm. And as for Legend ZA, we at this point do not know how that's going to work. We don't know anything about it as of recording this. So the reason this is Legend ZA pick is because I'm just going to pick. It depends on what the new features are, new Pokemon and such. I'm going to try and keep it to either a new Mega form or a new Pokemon altogether, or even a new form. Like, I don't want to go for, say, a Pikachu if it's already in the game anyways. I want a new experience and I want to encounter a new Pokemon, new shiny, without seeing it before. So that's what the first 10 slots are for. We should move on to the next ones. Just because it's 25 squares doesn't mean it's solely just 25 Pokemon, and you'll see why on this next page. So, for number 11, I've also said I want to try and get the 3 segment Dunsparce. I think I am 30 or so Dunsparce caught, Chinese, and none of them are yet. So that's something I'll need to continue doing. For 12, this is where Brilliant Diamond comes in because I want to try and get that shiny Arceus. I never, it was on my bingo card last year, but I never actually followed through with doing it a single time. Tried other Pokemon, but not Arceus, yeah. So that's what's going to happen. Dynamax Adventures, uh, I don't mind, honestly. I do have one legendary in mind, but at the same time, any will count as long as I get them in that game and it's shiny. For number 14, I'm encouraging myself to get every starter in that game as it is, and I still haven't got a single shiny Quaxley. I've got the full Fuecoco line, and on my last bingo card, I tried to do Sprigatito. I've only got one still, so that's something to work on. So for complete a Pokemon Home Shiny box, this kind of tailors into making the whole living dex in Pokemon Home, because I do have more shinies than there are in Pokemon Home. But I only put them in Pokemon Home if I have them spare. So if I had 2 shiny Galvantula, for example, one would be for the game and one would be for home. That's how I like to do it. And it goes for any Pokemon at all. And number 16 is the big one. This is what I mean by It's not just 25 Pokemon. I'm setting myself challenges, and one of the challenges is catch every type of Pokemon. So every I have one water type, one grass type, one fire, etc. If they're dual type, like Charizard, fire flying, the word primary, well, what I mean by that is it's first type. So if I caught Charizard, it's fire flying. That counts for fire, but not flying. Or say Hisuian Samurott. It would count for water, because water is its primary type. Its secondary type is dark. Doesn't count. It encourages me to look for more Pokemon and try them in different ways. I'm going to try and leave that one for last because I haven't started properly yet. So it really comes down to trying to see what I find first. But on the other page, you'll see the remaining types there. So for number 17, it's a pseudo legendary in a game. I don't mind which one. Doesn't have to be one I haven't got, as long as it's a pseudo. Aegon, Dratini, Beldum, anything. Gin Fishing and Friend Safari, both Pokemon Y, and both of which I want to try and get more shinies in. I did get a Corsola last year for the Friend Safari, and I did try chain fishing, but it's harder than I remember. I remember doing it before successfully. I just it's been a while, I'm a bit rusty on it. Okay, so for number 20, catch shiny Pokemon either is or close to my height. Now, I've looked it up, and there is no Pokemon that is 5'9", which is my height. So the closest I can get is 5'7". So I look through all the heights of the Pokemon again. Perhaps even when Legend CA comes out, there might be one. Until then, when I get to the point where that's the next target, I'll look for whatever's the closest height. As for birthday shiny, that speaks for itself. On the actual, on my actual birthday, I want to get a shiny because I always say to myself, "I'll do it, I'll do it," and I don't even. I've had the shiny mythical, sorry, birthday mythical back in 2016, I think it was, when they did all the mythicals for each month. Yeah, because that was for the 20th anniversary, I think. So yeah, I've had a birthday mythical, but not a shiny birthday Pokemon yet. So 5 new shiny Pokemon means 5 Pokemon, which are obviously shiny, that I have never caught before. So it's well and good to say I want to look for shiny Scorbunny. That's my newest shiny that I've caught, but I've already got one. If it was something like a shiny Solrock, for example, I haven't got one ever. That would count as a new shiny for me. So that would count as one. Or a shiny Pubchew, or a Lolamola. Anything that I have never caught before shiny counts for that one. For 23, it's Pokeradar, but I've changed it up a little bit. So on the bingo card, you'll see it says Gens 4 and 6. Yeah, I know how bad the Gen 6 Pokeradar is, but it's not going to be a challenge if I don't kind of push the boundaries a bit and try to just relearn old mechanics that I've not done in years. Get into shiny gene breeding. We've never done before. It was on my list last year, so I want to get into that and see how that goes. And finally, for number 25, that is a random number generator. Comes up with a random number, and unless the Pokemon is unobtainable, I'm going to look for whatever Pokemon it tells me to pick, it picks for me, and I will think of the best game to do it. If it's a Pokemon I can't shiny hunt, I'll just re-roll the number between 1 and 120, 1025. I think that pretty well covers it all, actually. That's my bingo card. Now, that's what it looks like. It goes without saying that each box is random. So, on the spreadsheet I just showed you, or the notepad, that's what I wrote in order. But furthermore, I did a random generator, 1 to 25, and the numbers corresponding on the previous set of notes were picked out like so. So 3 was first, obviously. So it's all random. The Legend ZA was originally going to be in the middle, but I thought, nope, that's defeating the purpose of the bingo card. So yeah, it's in a random spot, and all the games, all the slots are corresponding to a game. So for most of them, I have put an image of the actual hard copies of the games that I own. Although for Pokemon Crystal, I'm going to use the 3DS one because I think the batteries ran out for the actual cartridge. Stuff like the Birthday Shiny or 5 new shinies, they are non-specific. So there's no game tied to them. Although for the Pokemon Home Shiny box, yeah, I couldn't fit the image in, I'm afraid. Not even if I tried editing, cropping, anything of the sort. So that's why that one's not got a game next to it. Legends Arceus, though it does have a logo, well, I'm not going to do that because it's not got like box art. Because all of these images are the ones I took of the actual physical copies that I own. So that's why not all of them have a game dedicated, or rather, put next to the boxes. And as you can see in the top right corner, Shiny Red, Poke Radar Shiny for Gens 4 and 6 has Platinum and Y in them. That's the only instance I can see that there's 2 tailored games. The rest of them are either one or non-specific. So whatever I find, whatever game is fine by me. Huh. I think that'll do it for today's video. I've ranted on long enough. So for the upcoming playthroughs, I will continue them as soon as OBS decides it wants to work with the capture card sound and the Switch. So, with all that out of the way, I shall say thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, then please like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Also check out my Twitter that I'm active on a regular. It's the same name as the channel, Latest Cinderace. The link to that's on the channel itself. But before I go, whether or not you choose to do a bingo card for 2025, well, even if you don't, I hope you have a fantastic year. And if you do decide to do one of your own, good luck with it. And I will make, near the end of the year, an update video after this one to basically compare what I hope to achieve and what I did. I have a lot of 8,192 chances to try and successfully do. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you all then.